All right, welcome back to yet another special podcast with my comrade Patricia Litho. You see, I have a friend called Dr. Patricia Achano Kiria.
Yes, I know her.
You know her. She's
We
the
grew
deputy IGG.
We grew up
Yeah,
together.
so normally when I mention Patricia, my thoughts go to Dr. Patricia.
Well,
Yeah. So how are you doing, doctor?
I'm well. How
Yeah.
are you?
I'm okay.
Yes.
Today I want us to look at something which is quite important. Very few people get to realize most of these things, and something called emotions. Have you ever realized that in most cases the actions or the reactions we do normally are results of how our emotions are treated, how we treat emotions? So you find
Yes.
that I can do something, and then at the end of the day I'll say, oh, Dr. Patricia, Patricia, forgive me. I don't know even how I did that. Oh, I'm very sorry. Why did I do that? Then you're like, oh, but why? What were you thinking? What did you do? Why did you even
Yes.
have to do that?
Yes.
So then also in terms of relationship, you find that after the end of the relationship and something has gone back, then you realize, how did I meet this? That you're like, oh, if it's a lady, she's like, you have spoiled my future. But then
Yes.
when we were still together, you didn't notice that maybe there would be a problem ahead. But normally we crucify the devil.
Yes.
I say, oh, I'm the devil sent me to this and this. But we forget that in reactions, in doing some things, normally we are being driven by emotions.
Yes.
So what is your stand?
Well, emotions is an interesting aspect because we all have emotions.
Yeah.
Animals have emotions. I believe even plants have emotions. Like, you know, those plants that you touch and they shrink back. I think that's an emotion. So to me, emotions can be looked at in varied ways. There's happy emotions, a neutral, sad, and anger. And for some reason, we always think emotion is anger or depression. Now, like when people are comparing men and women, and for me, because of the gendered spaces, I always want to talk about how we look at things, view things as women and men. So you see, growing up, if a boy cries, they say boys shouldn't cry.
Yeah.
Do you see your father crying? Do you see men crying? And indeed, if you see a tear in a man, you're like, this thing must have hurt deeply. Yeah? So that's one emotion we try to bury when it comes to male beings, at least in the Ugandan setting. Then with women, we associated with crying. So they say women are so emotional. I don't know why they say men are not emotional, but I think it is the way we interpret emotion. So the way women react to things, we are more expressive. They say we are emotional, but even men are emotional in different ways. So you can see, just looking at stages of life. Let me even first go back to just yesterday. My little son is 7. He had a class day, so I went to interact with a teacher. And one of the teacher's issue was that, you see, Zach, when he's you give him a lot of work, he gets angry, then he starts crying. And I keep telling him, you're a boy, you're a man, men don't cry. Now me, I'm seeing nothing wrong. This is a young child. Hey, let him cry. But again, you see, sometimes that's a delicate path. I don't think I want a male who is too crying. No. Hey, men shouldn't cry. Not that women should also cry. But I think it's more tolerable in women. So there's that emotion that we deal with. But you say, as a woman, my cycle triggers my emotion in a certain way. So you see, me, I can have tears of joy. Sometimes I laugh and tears come. Sometimes I'm overcome. Sometimes I'm even reflecting on the past. And sometimes very horrible things happen, like death, where everyone around me is crying and I don't cry. I'm just frozen. But I'm deeply hurt, but I'm just frozen. You see no tear. This one did not even cry. Or sometimes we've had, when you lose a very close person, some of the emotion people display, they can't even. He said, but this one was not hurt. She even ate food. Like, why shouldn't I eat food? Eating food doesn't equate pain. Yes. Then you know, when we get a new job, when we get a new baby, when you get married, another place where we look at women and men differently. I remember the other day when we were talking about what it is to be a father, and I expected men to say, "Oh, the first time I held my baby," but I know most men fear a brand new baby, like it will break what they. It looks like some slimy thing. They don't want to deal with it. So slowly they get closer. While a newborn mother, I want to hold my baby, embrace it. Most women, of course, there are women who get the reverse reaction, postnatal depression, and they can even strangle their child. So those are different kinds of emotions. But as we grow up, those environmental attributions of who shouldn't cry, what shouldn't you cry, or you're not a good leader because you easily cry. Women are not good leaders, they easily cry. Men are better leaders because they handle, you find that it also affects things. There's a time we were in a very serious meeting at a certain institution, and we're arguing about something, but I think, you know, I'm one of those people whose emotion, apart from, if you're attentive, my face reveals a lot of my emotion, but I tend to seem contained, but it's not that I don't go through emotion. So many times I contain my emotion. I might not easily cry, I might not easily what. Maybe one of my biggest emotions that looks like a weakness is I've still failed to manage my anger. Like when I'm angry, most times I burst out and you'll know that I'm upset. But the other emotions, I can manage them better. So it's hard to test my other emotions. But anger, I don't know why I'm easily triggered off. Yes? But now sometimes when I contain those, I have a moment when I just break down. And my dad always teases me. I don't know, I'm always talking about my dad, but it's because of how I relate with him. One time, something very minor happened, and tears came. They're like, you see these people who pretend, who seem like tough people, they actually cry over small things. So many things sometimes, because I contain for so long, sometimes I find something very small triggers me, and I cry. And sometimes I'm not crying because I want to be looked at, because most women, they think you're doing an emotional blackmail. May I have cases where I'm crying and arguing my case, like just because I'm crying doesn't mean I need you to sympathize with me. But I can either show the level to which you've hurt me, or what that means to me. Yes, so sometimes emotions are looked like that because of what is happening. Now you look at maybe politicians. When debates are being argued, you can see those who easily flare up, they bang tables, they jump around. Those are emotions. Then there are those who remain calm and collected. You don't even know what they are thinking. Actually, sometimes it's often said those very contained people are the most dangerous people. They will slit your throat without you even realizing. The people who always smile, whether they're angry or not, they smile. So when they do something to you, don't see it coming because you're like, that one. They always smile, they brush it off. While someone like me who's very forthright, when I'm angry, you can almost predict what I'm going to do. Yeah, so I think that's it. And for me, another way I would like to look at emotion is when it comes to leadership. And that's one place I've met criticism. Like I've told you one time, there's a serious meeting, there's an argument, and then I break down and cry. And it had nothing to do with the meeting per se, but I think I'd had a lot of weight over my shoulder, and just something small triggered me. And I remember a male colleague said, we wanted to give you to chair this, but I think now you've shown you're very emotional. But you know, for the last so many years, have you ever seen me crying? But this one incident means I don't have a leadership ability. So sometimes we are brushed off because we have demonstrated an emotion that is seemed unwarranted at that time. So leaders should not cry, should not get easily angry. We expected you to contain yourself. And sometimes I would say, like, people we supervise, sometimes they patronize us like that. One of the things that I've suffered, because I got a PhD at a very early age. So sometimes when I got angry, and those days I didn't fear a physical fight, everyone said, a whole you with a PhD, you shouldn't be doing that. So you see how they manage you, because of the other tags around your life. So you're a leader, you have a PhD, you don't cry, you don't overlaugh, you don't get angry, you should be contained. But also over containing your emotion can lead to other symptoms. And because of that, you find that we look for ways to deal with emotion. You seem like you wanted to ask me something else, so I can first explain that.
You see, from your explanation, you're going to realize that there are around 2, 3, 4 things.
Yes.
There's emotions, there are thoughts,
Yes.
there are reactions, and there are actions.
Yes.
Now, in most cases, the public judge us through our actions.
Yes.
But it is
which is a reaction to something.
Until you get to realize my action.
Yes.
It started with my emotions.
Yes.
Then after, my thoughts.
Yes, triggered that emotion.
Triggered,
that reaction.
Then the reaction now.
Yes.
Now, by the time you get to realize my action, have you ever been in a situation where you find that you'll think about how you have managed to live your life like 20 years ago, how you managed to be where you are, and then you are like, no, I need to change something in my society, the way people see things, the way people do things. Oh, I need to create this bond at my workplace, and this is how I need to do it. But because someone is looking at your actions, remember, these are thoughts you thought. You just sat by yourself and you thought about what you're going to do. So because someone is going to concentrate on your action, the end result, your action looks as if you're introducing a new thing. Then the person will say, no, I think Patricia is doing that because she has money.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Has that ever
yes.
got into on your table?
Yes, yes, and yes, yes. That happens a lot. And because when people judge you, they're looking at a series of things. So, like in life, for instance, we have different preferences. So I might have a seemingly expensive taste. They might not be expensive stuff, but the way I put my things together, it looks expensive. Or the ideas I bring together looks expensive. But because maybe I put values.
Do you remember we say that Patricia pays attention to details?
Yes.
And then someone will say she's a perfectionist.
No, like she's too expensive.
She's too expensive.
She can't be. Yes. So people judge us by those trappings. Like one time I was with a friend of mine and I saw some sandals I wanted on the street. And it was 5,000 and I bought it and she was horrified, like, even you buy these things on the street. Then I'm like, for me it's about what it looks like, if it appeals to me. I can spend 1 million on a shoe or dress that I really want. Now for me that's how I view life. Like I really want it. But if I found it at 5,000, I'll buy it. I really want it. So people who have been around me when I'm acting expensive, I can have expensive habits. When I'm acting expensive, now they get shocked that Patricia can actually wear a shoe
to them
on
it
the
will
street.
Be like you are pretending.
Yeah, some people say it's pretense, or especially if I do it when we're in the field, like, she's gotten so hungry, she has also eaten commando on the street. But for me, like as a journalist, you know you're a street person, really. You eat rough, you learn how to do that. Yes, I am picky, but there are also things I can do. It doesn't mean a highway barbecue, which we call muchomo, is, for me it's about cleanliness. Some of these people are very clean. Oh, they look clean. So the things that would make me not want. Yes. So people judge you like that. I even remember when I was campaigning to be a speaker many years ago in Mary Stewart. As I went around the rooms. So you see they judged you, your wealth or what, by how often you ate in the dining. So one of the things that was working against me, like, you will not represent us well, you never eat mess food. You know people be watching you and you don't know people are watching you. I only ate on Thursdays when they served chicken, Mary Stewart. That's when I went to canteen to eat chicken. But people actually noticed that. So you see that was working against me, that you're not a good representative because you don't eat in mess. There were people who walked down to Wandegea, but you know Wandegea were eating chikumi. So really, maybe the food they've cooked in the hall was better food, or it even cost more. So yes, people judge us like that because of the way we present ourselves. And sometimes we trigger negative emotions in them, or we trigger happy emotions in them. And sometimes the workplace, I can admire the way you carry yourself, the way you dress, and then it crosses to jealousy, to anger. So everything you do irritates me, does what, because what. So that emotion, and yet there are people who said, oh, I like your shoes, where can I get a pair like that? You see? Those are different ways. So the other one, it triggers admiration. The other one, it triggers jealousy and hatred. Different ways. Yeah, so these things, I mean, like the couple that was just killed in Entebbe the other day. When you hear the stories, what could have triggered someone wanting to murder them is because they seem to have done well. Yes, they haven't really angered anyone. But I am so angry that maybe we grew up together, we started off together. How did you bypass me and become 10 times better? But again, it's about choices and preferences sometimes. So you're in that situation, and yeah, and that is why sometimes the way men are judged and the way women are judged, people can find us irritable because when we get emotional, or for us we are very expressive, we seem too much. While men are more contained, even if they are very angry. But you'll hear this man went and boxed the wall, went home and beat up his wife, because that is private, where he feels he can be free to let off his emotion. But the people in his private space suffer. There are guys, as soon as their father reaches the door, they take cover. They leave their mother to get the beating. Because if it's a happy day, he's a very nice person. If he had trouble at work, but while in office, no one sees that side of him. While women, maybe I screamed at people at office and I come home and I see my kids and I'm happy. Yeah, so I think certain environments can also make us very closed or very open or moderate. And you know, people often talk about emotional intelligence. I think it's about being able to judge but also contain. And yet for me,
I think it's
emotion is a reflex.
It's about questioning. When you question, when someone has done something, or you are in a certain environment and you see how people are living their lives or how people are doing some things. So before you react according to how you know the things, so you need to first question, why do you think these people are reacting this way around?
Yes, but for me I find that a challenge. Is questioning how other people react is the easy part, but where I must apply emotional intelligence. Because to me, I think emotions are triggered by something from inside. Rarely do you predetermine that you'll get irritated, you'll get angry, and it's something, you know, watching my colleagues who are more contained, it's an attribute I admire. Because me, I'm very expressive, and sometimes I said, okay, maybe I overreacted there, what? So there are those people who don't seem bothered, even when they're angry. If you're attentive, you'll see a flicker crossing their eyes very quickly, and then they are back to normal. Yes, so along the way I've admired that, and maybe it comes with age that sometimes I'm able to predict, so I try to hold myself back. Yes, but for me, most of my emotions are not predetermined. I find myself very angry, I find myself crying, I find myself very happy, and I am this weird person that when no one is laughing, maybe sometimes I can find humor. Maybe I have dark humor. I can find humor in something that no one is finding funny. So I laugh and laugh and laugh, and everyone is looking. And when everyone is laughing, I can just be looking. And not that I didn't see the humor, I did, but it doesn't trigger laughter in me. Now, judging others, which is really the main thing you asked me, I think there I can apply better emotional intelligence, because I'm possibly in a stable state where I'm looking on the other side and asking, why is this one crying? Why is this one over laughing? Why is this one looking irritated? So I'm able to question and try to find out. And you know, having been someone doing a lot of field work as a journalist, as a community outreach officer, you learn those things because you remember you're looking for information or you're trying to do behavioral change in a community. You must learn to be empathetic. If you have no empathy, so if you've gone to preach Electricity Connect and you find a barrier, you attend the barrier And you have to be empathetic and pack things. So there's a way those things prepare you to be in other people's shoes. Yet maybe sometimes when you're very young, you don't have very experience, you can be very judgmental. That people from that tribe, the way they cry and fall all over. Or Islam women, the way they laugh. You know those statements we make, but we never try to put ourselves in other people's shoes. Though I think application of emotional intelligence is easier when you're looking at another person's emotion, because for you possibly you're more contained, so you're using reasoning. But when it comes to yourself, you find you can lose it. You can never know how you're going to react. Many times you can't. You just prepare yourself, or experiences in life can season you that you're a bit more contained. Yes.
Looking at how you have been brought up, and then look at the Patricia today at your workplace, some of the things you have managed to put on the table together to be successful. Where do you attribute the emotions that you grew up, some of the things that you grew up seeing? Remember in our previous conversation, you talked about affirmation, mental conditioning, some things to do with that. Where do you think you can attribute this?
I think I attribute this a bit to my parents. I think my character in relation to how I express myself, how I demonstrate my emotions, I think begins with my parenting. My dad is a very closed person emotionally, yes, and also maybe being in the military has even made him a harder person to read. He's that man's man, very together, very macho. Of course, once in a while you see a certain weak moment where an emotion, a weak emotion expresses, and you're taken aback that something must be very wrong for him to be doing that. My mom on the other side is a very expressive person. She's a very happy person, very forgiving person. When it's time to cry, she cries. Like at a burial, she will cry. At a party, she will dance, she will laugh. She's a very expressive person. So me as a person, I actually have those two personalities. Mostly I am attributed, including my attributes are attributed more to my dad. And then people who see the other side of me, especially in my private life, off duty, people experience the other side of me. So they get surprised, but I have both. Only that along the way, I have learned maybe to suppress certain things because of that. But also, I grew up in a barracks, several barracks by the way around the country. This is a military environment. Your mother or father is a soldier, yes? Or sometimes both parents are soldiers. You're in a barracks. What? So there are things that a barracks kid adopts because of their parents' profession. There are things that are sneered at, there are things what. So you're a bit harder than a person who grew on the other side of the fence. It's a closed environment, but there are a lot of do's and don'ts. There are a lot of, and you're emulating your parents. So you find that you're less expressive because soldiers are taught like that. Stand for hours, look straight, have a straight word, don't cry. Yes, but also the issue of hierarchy, you know, it sort of builds in, yes? So, of course, my mom not being a military person, so sometimes, you know, there was that clash. My dad feeling, oh, you're too friendly. Me, I'm a senior officer, I am enforcing this kind of behavior. But you, junior officers, you're friendly to them, you're friendly to them, yet in the military, there's hierarchy. So even in emotions, there's certain expectations. So I think that has contributed. But also going to school, I went to boarding school at a very young age, which was like a punishment. My mom said I was too naughty. I was always in trouble at school anyway. So they said, I think boarding school will sort of calm her down. But boarding school did not calm me down. It made me shut down. I literally packed my emotions somewhere and locked them. And I'm going to tell you how. So first of all, I was very angry with my parents for taking me to boarding school. There's this school called Stella Maris Suve. It's for nuns. That's why I was taken. First of all, it used to seem so out of the way. You go through this thick forest and what? So you're on your own, you feel abandoned. They used to overbeat us. You dig for hours, kilometers. What? Those nuns have no emotion. You know, So there's that environment where you just learn to contain. To contain yourself, you cry minimal if you're hurt, because they'll beat you and you cry, they'll beat you that we beat you and you didn't cry, then they beat you that they beat you and you overcried. So you should cry a little to show that you felt the punishment, but stop. But if you cry all day, they'll beat you. Yes, they'll beat you some more. If you didn't cry, they'll beat you some more. So you know, I contained my emotions and I just locked away. So that time of my life, I used to just be like this. I didn't laugh, I didn't smile, I didn't cry, whatever was happening. And for me, that's why sometimes there are key milestones in my life where other people would have thrown big parties and what. I remember my PhD, my dad was mad at me for refusing a party. And because I think I like to control things, I hate those surprise things. I want. So sometimes there are things people want to celebrate, and I'm like, no, I see no reason to celebrate. I am happy. For me, that's enough celebration. I can just smile like, just a little wince, and I'm there. Yes. But I remember after P7, for me, where I always realized, I think that is what had happened to me. I locked my emotions because we went into VAC, then I went to high school. I went to Namagunga, Mount St. Mary's College, Namagunga. And there wasn't beating. So I think beating is one of the things that frightened me. I think if I had a husband that battered me, I would be back in the other box or being contained. Now again, I was free. And I went back to the other list that mommy did not want. Then again, she started complaining. You know, I am a free spirit. But the beating and the boarding school sort of made me. So also school can contain you. I know my brothers who are in Toronto in schools like Manjasi, Tororo College, they'll tell you they went outside, they went dancing, they jumped over the wall. You know, I'm like, men have a better deal in life. No wonder they're happier beings, and women were always quarreling and whatever. So I think those things shape you. Then also, certain jobs, yes, they don't expect you to cry, they don't expect you to do what, yes. So I think those can shape the way you behave. And then I think at some point that form who you are. So while you might have all these emotions, you will have a dominant emotion. So I don't know from your judgment where you would box me, but I can cry for sure, even if some people think I'm incapable of crying. I laugh a lot, even if some people think that I'm incapable of laughing. But there are those people who just take out that happy spirit out of me. There's some people who just depress me. So if I'm around them, I'm depressed. Yes, there's people, there are people I'm around and they just make me angry. So I'm just busy dealing with my emotion, not to flare up. Yes.
Is it dealing with the emotions of trying to protect your peace?
I think more I am reacting to criticism, which might be positive or not. As I told you, one of my biggest weaknesses that everyone tells me, but I also realize is that I easily get triggered off to the negative part. And I think, as we said earlier, because I'm very particular, that people say I'm a perfectionist, it's very easy to trigger me off, especially if I've guided, do it like this. And you just move an inch away, I get angry. I told you to do this. So I have learned that is a weakness. So I'm always on edge because I know I'm irritable.
So, Patricia, at that point, after realizing that you have that
weakness,
that weakness, how do you concentrate on this weakness to make it? How do you make sure that you concentrate on that weakness such that people do not benefit a lot from your weakness?
Yes, and I think for a very long time people actually exploited that aspect of me. Like they know how to trigger me off. But and even my mom sometimes says, oh, she seems very tough, but she's very kind. So there are people who realize that about me, so they don't really care. We can anger her, but if I can't tell her I have a problem, she'll help. So you realize people are taking advantage of you. But I learned with the time that, oh, this one just wants to push my button. So that self-awareness, like I told you, for me, an emotion is a reflex.
Blue,
yes,
yellow?
bright red. So you see, I started getting aware. While emotions are a reflex action, that's how I always look at it. I started learning self-awareness. Yes. So I think I can sense myself getting angry, and I just try to freeze myself. Yes, I think I'm good at freezing. So I think once I was aware and I started getting feedback, the trouble with you get so angry and do this and flare up. Like feedback started coming back. And then also associating with very calm people. For some reason, a lot of my friends are very calm. Maybe I just have one or two who is a bit crazy like me. But most of my friends are very grounded, very calm. Even when they're angry, they're very contained. Those people who, when they want to cry, they will gently walk to the bathroom and go and cry. Me, when I'm sitting here, I will cry openly. I will scream openly. I will laugh openly. Like I don't have to hide. But I've learned that you have to deal with those. So I started being aware, more aware. Like sometimes I didn't even realize I was so mad and banged tables and people like, that was over. But today maybe what? And sometimes they would point to someone. Like, but so-and-so is so contained. Now, like me and my big brother, I met him the other day, Patrick. He's our firstborn and I follow him. And for some reason, we are quite close. But we're such a contrast because such a calm character. And I'm but he's one of those people, and I listen to him, he'll tell you, he'll even press me physically, like when he knows I'm going to go, he said, you be easy, you be easy, you don't need, even me, I'm angry, but you relax, he tends to do that. So having people like that who know me, but they're also free with me. There are people who know me, but they're not free with me. They fear to tell me. They think maybe they will get the same reaction. But then I have people who are free around me. Said, maybe you didn't need to do that. Maybe next time try this. So I started becoming aware. And maybe that has helped improve. And it's not that I don't get angry anymore, but I started realizing that, okay, maybe this is excessive. And then I started realizing some people do it deliberately. Like we talked about work. And for me, I give my work my best. And sometimes when you're doing so well, you also accumulate a lot of enemies. Yes. So you have cases where like, Patricia thinks she's very excellent at this, but this is her weakness. So people are like, oh, she thinks she's all that, but she's not emotionally intelligent. So that you also come off as bad. This one is more contained, even if she's lazy. So sometimes maybe we are going to a critical meeting, like, let's not take Patricia. Even if I could have been the best choice, because she's so emotional, it might not be good for our team. Would rather take the other one. Yes, we know their weakness, but they are more contained. So you realize people wanted to paint me in bad light. Yes. So they'll push that button and I come out as this angry wild animal. They're like, we are not going to have that. We're not going to have that. So once I realized that's what's happening, so I have tried to work on that on my own. I don't know, people talk about therapy, psychologist. I don't know. I've never gone to one per se. But there are people I'm very close to that I can talk to about those kind of things. And say, maybe try this. But the other thing that I wanted to say earlier is that people deal with emotions differently. Yes. Now, for me, one of the ways I would deal with my emotions is also sometimes like when you're very terrified, it's like you're going for an interview. There's a friend of mine I thought didn't drink, but on her wedding, she was so nervous. I saw her drinking a spirit. I'm like, hey, every day you drink. Now me, I drink. So when I would be depressed or angry, I would even drink some more. I'm lucky that I didn't digress to alcoholism. Some people use drugs, like I think a lot of young people these days. Now you see, when we're growing up, you're being beaten, you had enough earlier and learned to take some things easy and what. But these days we see a lot of suicidal cases. That is a manifestation of a certain emotion you have failed to manage. Like, I'm so upset, so angry, let me take myself away from this world. But the other people will continue with their lives and they enjoy. That's one thing we should remember, that don't think killing yourself will make the other people miserable. Yes, they will cry 1-2 days. Or people who commit suicide because their parents reprimanded them. Especially if there are other kids in the house. They will cry, but you know, life will carry on. So we've got to learn that. So you find that people use different substances. Some people smoke, some people are chain smokers. To deal when they're angry, they just start smoking and walk. Give me a minute. Then they go smoke, come back. Some people use drugs. Some people drink alcohol. Maybe I'm in that group, but I think in a more responsible way. Some people binge eat. They just eat and eat because they're upset. They are depressed. They just eat and put on a lot of weight. So yes, emotions can also trigger certain kind of behavior. Other people take a long walk. Other people run and chase that monster. The other day in one of those women things, there was a video going around of when your husband annoys you. So they collected this group of women and took them to a forest and gave each of them a big branch. So just imagine that long is your husband. So women were beating, screaming, insulting. And then the emotion goes off and then you go back home and you know you're a smiling, happy wife.
The conversation continues and it's about emotions for those who have just joined. We are winding up. You know, in most cases you are in a certain meeting and then people are giving out some various contributions. Then here comes someone, a friend of Juma, whom I'm not going to talk about, who drinks a lot. So this person comes and says, "Oh, I am pledging 5 million." And you wait for the contribution. But for us who are in the meeting, we don't know why this person pledged 5 million. Kumbe the person was emotionally being driven. First took something somewhere.
Is it at a wedding meeting?
Yeah, Juma,
all those events. No, but yes, I know. I don't know if that's maybe it's an emotion, I don't know. But I think it has to do a lot with how we want to be looked at.
Yeah.
And or sometimes people misunderstand. So if all your peers are contributing big money, now there's someone you're trying to impress. Sometimes like men, you're trying to impress women. Maybe if I pledge big, they will think this. People will get impressed. And then you never see the contribution, you never see the person, yes? And yet if they had said maybe 50,000 and put there 1,000, it is appreciated. Money is money, it's cumulative. So some people sometimes want to project a certain image, feel pompous, or people to think they have money, yet they don't. So they'll make those pledges that they never really honor. And then, of course, people judge you differently. So I don't know this person you're talking about. Was it the intoxication, or they just wanted people to think that what? They just wanted people to think that that yes, they have a bit of money, or it's because they were drunk. I think those are cowards. Like they want to beat you or they want to abuse you. They'll go and pretend and drink a little and pretend to be drunk, because drunk people are always forgiven. They said, oh, they did this under the influence of alcohol, so they'll come and talk things. Insult you, you even have a very short leg, even have a very big head. But really, they know what they are doing. Because exactly. People who are near them said, let me drink for them. Or they'll come and box you.
So drinking is just a catalyst.
For courage.
For courage.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. It is an interesting topic, but we are afraid that we are going to end it. But just before we end, just the final one, Patricia. When you are getting into the status of marriage,
yes,
what do you think emotionally drove you? And you're like, when I get to marriage, these are some of the do's and don'ts.
I think I'm not the best example of how marriage traditionally works, but I'll try to speak to that. For me, I think I'm an extreme person emotionally. Like we were talking, like I'm deep. I love very deeply. What I like, I really like. I give it my all. I'll do anything for someone I like or someone I love. Yes? But if you trigger the negative and I pack you, now for me, I don't like wasting my emotions in hating someone. Because you know when you hate someone, they drain you emotionally. At least that one I learned early. Like if you anger me, I will tell you off and move away. But I tend to pack you like I sort of create a certain black hole where I throw you in, and you know you're part of the fauna and flora. I don't. So for me, I literally cut you off like that. When I don't like you, I don't see you, I don't acknowledge you, I don't whatever. So when I was in partnership, I think I didn't get married the logical or the acceptable way. There's this young man, I don't know whether we fell in love or like, I even used to consider love a weakness. You know, I've gone through so many phases. So you say, I am in like. Yeah? So a guy is telling guy, I love you and love you. Say, for me, I like you. I would never say I love you like, I don't know. For me to say I love you, it has to come from somewhere deep. But somehow, it reached a point where I was expecting. Yes. And I'd always said, I want 2 kids without a husband. Yes. And I remember there was this lecturer of mine who was a close friend who I told, I said, no, don't say that. That's immoral and what. But for me, that's how I was. I want 2 kids with no husband. So there I was with wanting kids with no husband. So now when I was expecting, there are now those pressures from society. You know, as soon as I told my mom was like, you bring that man very quickly and introduce him before the stomach shows, because it's the mother's always blamed. While I had talked to my dad and I told him, please don't force me to get married. I want the child, but I'm not ready to get married. And he asked me, what kind of person do you think I am? Who told you I was going to force you to get married? I'm like, well, that's what most parents do. So it was that situation where this person actually wanted to marry me and I said no. They wanted to wed me, I said no. And my friends found me peculiar. Some say, there's no woman who doesn't want a wedding. I am that woman who doesn't want a wedding. But I wanted a partner, yes? And this guy said, do you have a backup plan? Why don't you want to marry me? Yeah, you know? And even I took forever to have a kid. Even though you don't want to have my child. But anyway, so it reached that point and reached a compromise. I'm like, okay, I'll bring the person and introduce to you. So that's the farthest I sort of went. This is the father of the baby that is coming up. When is the Kwanjula? When is the what? When is the what? I'm like, well, we will talk about that when the time comes. Hey, my dad was like, even something simple. I'm like, isn't this something simple? I've brought the guy and shown him. And I've told you I am going to move in with him. My dad said, no, you're not going to move in with any man. That is not how things are done. So I told my dad, no, people have to take charge of their responsibility. He's the father, so I must move out of home. Yes, and be with this person and they take care. So when I had a few other sisters having those kind of sentiments, I was always, you see how you've spoiled your sisters? Yes, so you see, then my parents started thinking I'm a bad influence. That you see, you and your women things. That's when I do something they don't agree with. They say, you see, you and your women things. Now you're sending a bad message. Now your kid sisters are also speaking like that. But we thank God that for them, they went ahead, did those things, went to church, wore their white gowns. Actually, in 2 of my siblings' weddings, I was even the MCs, partying away, you know. Yes, but me, myself, and I think again it's because of those issues of mine of being very, very particular. I always feel, and you know, like my graduation, I can imagine a wedding. It's never about me and what I want. It's about my parents. You'll find your wedding where it is basically your parents, friends and relatives and what. Your real friends, perhaps, you know, there's even no room for them. Yes, when they allow friends to talk, they give them this few seconds. So I'm like, no, I don't want that scenario where what makes me happy. So me, if I had my way, yes, if I married formally, I think I would have maybe, well, my family, I was going to say 10 people, but my family alone, we are like I think 21. So, yeah, but it would really have to be close-knit, Yes, yes, because again, maybe some people can trigger off the negative emotion, but then there are those who trigger very happy emotions.
All right, thank you very much. I think we are going to call it a day.
No, but wait, as we round up, I think this has been very one-sided. I'm always curious about men, and Olga, you should share this one briefly about men and that demeanor. You carry yourselves like this, like you don't feel, you don't laugh, you don't get amused. Yes, men laugh, but it is hard to see them angry or crying.
Yeah.
Like you don't get overly worked up. How are you that contained? I want that. I want that attribute.
Normally, men, I don't want to speak from my own perspective.
Yes.
But generally, as men, you see, we've been talking much about environment that we live in. And away from the environment, how environment will shape your understanding of things. But even whatever additions that come along with what you that comes along with your journey. Like you are a young boy growing up, then after school, maybe those who have gone to work, someone starts getting some good money, then you're like, the way you're going to react emotionally is, now I have money, I can do this, I can do that, I'll rush, I'll go and see the other person, I'll see the other person. So now, before you know it, you have gotten someone you're living with. So when this person also comes, it comes with different characters.
Yes.
And you're going to react according to how you want to treat this person.
Yes.
So you see how your emotions are going to be
yes, if they
driven.
don't do things
now,
the way you would like.
Before you know it, there's a kid. So each addition that comes along your way, because by the time you think you've gotten a work, you've got a job, then you're happy. When before you know it, there's a lady. So
until you had the money and you're jumping around.
Remember, you've even spoiled the money. You spoiled
making
her
happy.
Contribute.
Yes.
Yeah. Then there's a kid. Then before you know it, the kid is going to school. So,
they tell you the father.
Your father, or the guy you used to call every time, come, we are going this way. Oh no, first wait a bit. You know, on Sunday we are going to do this and that, and you know, and then before you know it, the kid has finished school, has no job. And
that's all on the father's head.
All on the father's head. Remember, I've not spoken about rent. I've not spoken about the Oga whose mother will say, oh, I am happy my son is somewhere.
Working.
My son is working. So almost everything is on.
They're always calling you.
On your shoulder. They're always calling you.
Sister needs tuition. We have no food at home.
You say, hey, we helped
so is in hospital.
We helped your brother's son has been arrested. And you need this and this. Oh, there's a goat which has eaten some kavera, so now they need to... everything is on your shoulder. So the way you're going to react will always depend on the additions, whatever responsibilities that come along your way. So by the time you realize you're around 50 to 40, 50 years, and you think you have done everything, and then you're in the hospital and the doctor is like, oh, by the way, you have ulcers, you have diabetes, you have... So now that's the time you realize that again you're overwhelmed and you start afresh. So with men, most of the times we always go back to zero, the drawing board, in terms of reacting, thinking, and so on. So depending on what has come along your way. So you're here, you think you have taken your kids to school, you have done everything, so you're like, let me enjoy my life. And then the doctor is no, you don't need to enjoy your life. You need to sit and rest for like 7 months, because now you can't. You see, Oga who used to go for football, Oga who used to go for this, you can no longer do it. So you have a lot of stress. Before you know it, maybe you have buried one of your kids. Before you know it, maybe you're the parents. So you start some of the thoughts that come along your
But how about these things? Okay, let's say we're in a situation of an argument. Let's say I am dating you and we get into an argument. How come, even if I'm in the wrong, I am the one who cries, and for you never cry?
We have that mentality right from the old traditional setting that a man has always to be the main head of the family. You see,
a head doesn't cry.
So you don't want
to show... The body cries, the head doesn't cry.
You said, no, I am a man. So that belief... But
do you feel like crying? You feel at the back of
however much you might feel like crying. And even if you cry, by the way, it might take very seconds. Have you ever been to place you have lost someone, and then your dad is like, or even if it's your dad who has lost maybe the wife or his sister, what, he's like, oh, okay, and now have you got the tent?
And then he switches off.
He switches off. Have you got?
He starts organizing.
Get money to do this and that, because that's being
like
a man.
The emotion has to just be a flash.
Yeah, it has to be a flash.
Wow. Tough.
So that's how men
are supposed to be.
Yes.
So I'm wondering what's going to happen to my boys. Because I only have sons. I hope I'm able to nurture the flash.
When you are giving me some of your weakness,
yes.
anger, in fact, I was compelled to ask you a question. Like, how would you feel at a certain point when someone says, oh, Zach, please do this, don't be like your mom? Then your mom is now an example because of your weakness. So don't be like your mom. Please be a man. How would you feel?
Well, and again, it depends on how we look at things. So you see someone who said, don't be like your mom. And I don't know what about his mom they're talking about, but let's assume the one who flares up when they're angry. Yes? And for me, I don't see that as a problem because I was reacting. Yeah? You know, anger was triggered and reacted. How is that a problem? So you see, so how would I feel? I would feel bad for my son because I might not necessarily think that is bad. You see, many times people say, don't be like what? But the other person might not even realize it is a problem. So they're like, why are they saying like this? What is it about me? You know, when they say, oh, she's a difficult person. What is difficult about me? So sometimes we don't even realize that we have undesirable attributes. So when people throw that at your child, and of course because we are very protective of our children, then you're like, what is that? But yes, even my own sons, sometimes they are like, Mommy, this happened at school, or I'm not going to tell you another issue that happened at school because of the way I reacted the other time. Teacher beat me. I am that person who will want to go and beat back the teacher. Like, how dare you beat my son, you know? Something like that. Yes, and my older son especially tell me, I'm going to tell you this, but you have to promise not to react, not to come and scream at the teacher or threaten the teacher. Then you're like, okay, I promise. And then they tell you this thing that is almost making you jump. But remember, you promised. And it's so amazing for me that I think one of the people, the peoples who have put me in line in terms of how I deal with my emotions are my sons. I think they have my best attention. Like if they say this is negative, and I actually think when I say this is bad, I will try to change. I don't know, kids tend to do that. You don't want to embarrass them, you want the best for them. So maybe so many people have told me that and I'm like, whatever. But when my son told me that, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah? And this is just maybe like a 6-7-year-old putting you to order. Like, are you overreact? You over scream, you over shout. So you're like,
big upon yourself, Zach.
That one is Zach. That was actually Danny. Danny is reserved, but he speaks his mind. Yes. Yes, of course, also, Zach is always putting me in order. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. For you who has just joined, please, you can just flash, rewind a bit such that you can also enjoy the conversation. See you next time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.